Hello everyone, so I'm Fiaura. I have my own channel. I do these reviews for Remlays as a courtesy to him because he is my friend. And so that, you guys can have some reviews for some ideas about things for Warhammer 40K games. Hopefully soon also Warhammer Classic games, but that's up to Remlays. In the meantime, this is Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, and something that I will admit I did largely use to compare Eternal Crusade's core gameplay mechanics to, which I was asked during this review at some point to stop and do a compare and contrast, which we're going to attempt to do. Now, I'm going to start where I usually like to start, in the options section. Gameplay options, you have your basic sensitivity. You can actually play this on a gamepad. They did actually make a version for the Xbox. And you have but other than that, you have very basic options here. Video options, you can't actually make this. Can I increase that? Okay, your aspect ratio is way the hell off. I might need to do some adjusting the recording equipment after we do this too. I don't know why I did that. But video options, you have no. Let me check the recording. Yeah, I need to do some adjustments to the recording equipment. Hold on. My apologies. Doop. 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 Got it. Anyway. So you cannot make this a windowed game, which I count as a flaw because particularly if I wanted to record stuff, I need to make it a window game. You also don't have a lot of choice in what your visible and what your video options are. Flat out. Audio options, all the necessary audio options are here, including the ability to turn the music on and off, which the music is amazing. I have it turned off just in case there's something copyrighted in it, and I don't want to get Remlays a copyright strike, but the music is amazing. We're going to cut the master sound down to 50% so that you guys can hear me through the entire review, and of course you can completely customize your entire control layout. Now, options for actual gameplay. You have the campaign, which is something that Eternal Crusade does not intend to include. Is a single-player experience or a story. That's something that is here that Warhammer 40k Space Marine offers. Next thing is online, and you have multiple modes for online. You have the Exterminatus mode, which has two separate modes in it, one for Chaos and one for Loyalist. As you guys can see, however, my Windows Live progress did not transfer over because I had a level 40 on Windows Live. Now I had a level 1, and I've done some gameplay here, but now I have a level 3, which means I've actually played 2 matches, one Versus and one Exterminatus. You also have the option for private matches, something, again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, is not something that's planned to ever be provided by Eternal Crusade. As a matter of fact, they've gone on record as saying they will never actually give private matches. Leaderboards and challenges is another mode you can do, in which you are basically... The challenges unlock certain things to progress faster for you. And yes, there is a progression system to unlock stuff such as the Customizer or the different classes of Tactical, Assault, and Devastator Marine. So let's take some footage from the campaign. I actually had to play through the entire campaign here recently in order to get the proper amount of review footage for you guys. So we're actually going to start with Dying of Light, and actually no, we're going to start with part 2 because I'm going to try to spoil as little of the story for you guys as possible. Let's do Heart of Darkness. Chapter start. Normal difficulty. Yes, that's fine.
Fine.
Now during these talking scenes, you can't actually run, so. You have a sprint, you have a dodge. During the dodge, you actually have you have about 8 tenths of a second of invincibility frames. And look, it's Gretchen's, who died of bolter fire like nobody's business. The bolter is fairly accurate, which is good to know. Unlike, I hate to break it to you, Eternal Crusade's bolter is actually still fairly inaccurate. It plays more like Gears of War or Call of Duty. If you're moving, you're not going to hit the broadside of a barn. I'm being very cautious here because of the potential for squig riders. Here we go. So I am going to take the power axe. Basically, it's the power weapon equivalent to the power sword. We are going to take the Vengeance Launcher, which is not a cannon weapon, and the Staker Bolter. The Sacred Bolter in this is kind of like a lower level sniper rifle. As you can see, I don't get a direct crosshair until I zoom in, and a headshot is an instant kill. Not only that, the Sacred Bolter will pass through multiple targets. Throw grenades. Now I'm being a little cautious here because I could get killed. Oh, that's the wrong button. I'm still not used to the middle mouse being my zoom button. As you can see, your armor actually stops rounds. Stops a significant amount of punishment. And it's the same in the multiplayer. The multiplayer, I'd say you take about... Hopefully I can show you guys some footage, but you take a decent beating to bring down. Let's throw another grenade up there. Takes care of those guys. And we're going to get into the melee. Now I like leveled my own armor there. Whoa! Get the fuck back! You feel powerful. I mean, these are random orc boys. You should be able just to rip and tear them apart. Which, in the most satisfying way possible, you do. Ooh, I took another big hit there. I think I might have accidentally put it on easy. We'll double check that. Oh, shit. Okay, I forget. What is retribution mode? Ow, shit. I am dying. If I remember the button for retribution mode, I would be fine. C, X, Z. Oh, what is the fucking button? Pardon my French. I don't want combat controls. I want actual options. Because the retribution mode will save me right now. Key bindings! Execution would also save me, so let's do that. Now you can still be attacked when you're performing those execution moves, but as you can see, they regenerate your health significantly. And the first two strikes are never very powerful, but it's always that last strike that's super potent. And the execution move will regenerate my health significantly. I forgot what the button is for Righteous Fury. And Righteous Fury is only available in single-player mode. It basically activates a mode in which you can do a significant amount of damage, and you're constantly regenerating health. It's really useful for when you're in tight situations and outnumbered. As you can clearly see, if I'm not careful, they will bring my ass to my knees and kill me. I am a single Space Marine. While I am a badass, I am not entirely capable of taking on whole hordes of orcs just by waiting to the middle of them and praying that I don't die. There is no block. If you swing your weapons at the same time, and they're of equal power, this is particularly relevant in the multiplayer, and it's the same type of swing, i.e. a regular swing, not a shoulder ram or a power swing. I do not like that noise. Get down. But if you have the same swing, you'll bounce off of each other doing no damage. The F move is my stunning blow. Shit! Nope! That's a squig. Suicide bomber. See, stunning blows. Depending on the weapon you're carrying, depends on the stunning blow you do, such as if I have a heavy bolter, I will do a foot stomp. It has an area of effect, but is not nearly as effective as the individual ones. Not a lot more, apparently. You do get some reward for going off the beaten path. Extra grenades, extra ammunition. Yeah, it's a Space Marine. What are you going to do about it? Fuck down. Check and make sure we're actually recording here. We are. Sweet. But yeah, this is basically the core of the game, is this single-player experience, which has some replayability to it in that you can pick different styles of fighting. And instead of a power fist, you do get a thunder hammer. That is a berserker orc, and that is not something I want to actually get a melee with, and I'm going to throw a grenade. I'm going to throw another one. And you have to make that tactical assessment when it's time to close in melee and when it's time to not to. You really have to sit there and make that tactical assessment, otherwise you were going to get in too quick and end up dying.
Time to die, humans!
You also will get hordes of orcs thrown at you. Let's try out the Vengeance Launcher. Oh, I figured it out. You die. Oh, it's Q. That is right. It's Q. You're joking, right? You saw all of that. Oh, shit. And this can keep things stun locked, basically. It's not doing a hell of a lot of damage, but it's enough to kill him. In multiplayer, the Vengeance Launcher is actually not available because of an imbalance issue. So there's no worries there. You're not going to have to be worried about somebody abusing a Vengeance Launcher in multiplayer. It's not available. However, all the other weapons are Plasma Cannon, Plasma Pistol, which I haven't shown you guys yet. I should probably do that. Let's get the Plasma Pistol. You have your basic fire, and you have to vent it because it doesn't have an ammunition limit. And you have your charged shot, and that is the sound of a squig. An orc suicide bomber. You do have to vent it. The bigger plasma weapons do not have infinite ammo, but you have a single shot which does SHIT! Okay, that hurt! I felt that!
Kill them Space Marines!
And then you have the charge shot.
Shoot them!
Which, by the way, the plasma pistol is amazing because it delivers like a miniature plasma bomb into people. Execute him! Whack! Whack! Boom! I wish you hadn't saved right then, because that actually freezes the frame rate for a second. There are some flaws with the game. Those flaws become very, very evident during multiplayer play. I'll show you guys the Melt-A-Gun. I don't actually use the Melt-A-Gun. Fires a... because it's completely inaccurate for what a Melt-A-Gun is.
More humans to kill!
That's the Melt-A-Gun. Which, if you can get a bunch of orcs gathered together, you can frag them all.
Kill them all!
I don't really use it because it's too short range for my tastes. If I'm going to use a gun, I want it to reach out and touch someone. And that fucking hurts! Quit hitting my armor. Give me the Vengeance Launcher.
Show them fury!
Didn't mean to do that, but I'll take it. In order to unleash some unbridled wrath. Two. Thank you. You can scroll with the mouse wheel to scroll the weapons, or you can just press 1, 2, 3, or 4. There is also the... Oddly enough, the las cannon works the same way it does in Eternal Crusade. I'm going to say that. They're both sniper rifles. They're basically glorified sniper rifles. The difference being that you can use the Staker Bolter instead, but the Staker Bolter is a lot less powerful. Think of the Staker Bolter as like the sniper rifle for lower level enemies. And the las cannon, the sniper rifle for I need to kill a fucking orc knob right now. The enemy orc knobs are just as powerful as your Space Marine, by the way. No holds bar on that. You do have some sections of the multiplayer where you're just running around, getting to look at and take in the atmosphere, which brings me up to the atmosphere and the story. The characters are very well voice acted. And I think that they nailed the atmosphere of the game pretty well. Run away from me, will ya? Reload. You also run into these sections where you basically get a pick a weapon mode. I do not want to swatch my Vengeance Launcher for Melt-A-Gun. I just wanted to get ammo for my Sacred Bolter. Thank you. And you have these long... There's a couple places where it's long sections where you're just looking at the pretty. You're not really getting to do a lot or interact with a lot. You're just looking at the pretty. Your Space Marine is quote-unquote a Space Marine captain, which to me doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense because I always thought captains were supposed to be in charge of a Space Marine company. And here you only ever see three Ultramarines. Your trusted sergeant and a rookie. But that bothered me a little bit. You get upgrades, as you guys can see. It's one of the reasons why I picked this level, is because you get upgrades as you go. You upgrade your pistol, you upgrade your bolter, you upgrade your Righteous Fury. You actually don't start with Righteous Fury at all. You just have to work without it for a little bit. If you actually look at the lore, one of the primary reasons for people having to engage in melee constantly is because ranged weapons simply have not caught up with armor. Personal armor is really strong in 40k. Let's do another execution while I'm talking. Get our health back up.
Space Marines!
They're just fun to watch. I mean, it does get old, and since it's the only way to really regenerate your health consistently without using Righteous Fury, it is annoying. There's our rookie.
Well met, brothers.
And you are playing Ultra Smurfs, which is another problem I have. And as you can see, there are bugs. There are still bugs. The game is like 5 years old. The bugs are just never fixed. Alright, so we're going to end the single player check here. I am going to go take a look. There are also servo skulls that kind of help embrace the universe, give you more ideas about how people are here, and give you a better idea about the game itself. We're going to try for Chaos Unleashed. Let's see how long this takes. I will come back to you guys when we have a match. Alright, so I could not actually get a match. I've been sitting around for about half an hour and I finally gave up. As you can see, there are still people. This is my leaderboard for my friends. It doesn't tell me when the last time they played was, but I'm pretty sure that this is about a month and a half. There are still people who regularly play. The problem is it's like 9 o'clock at night and this is not prime time. Prime time for this game is usually in the afternoon when the kids get home from school. But if you really want to get the full experience, you need to play the multiplayer and you need to play the Exterminatus, which, while they are good, are not entirely balanced. Which is why we are now going to warp towards the end of the game. Just to show you guys one of the reasons why things are not entirely 100% balanced. You'll get the idea when you see me run up and grab all of them. It's an instant kill if you get a headshot. Oh shit. I'm just goofing off. Again, instant kill if you get a headshot. The guardsmen don't do a lot of damage, but there's enough of them and their weapons are rapid fire enough that they can actually kill you. So everything here is really a threat, and you should acknowledge that. As you can see, I have the Iron Halo, so my armor is upgraded. And they cover me, so I can move up here. Get the last cannon back out. Insta-pop. Again, I don't really think that's what the last cannon's really for, but it's how it works.
Kill them all!
I wanted to stun him and use him for health, but that didn't work out. Oh well. But we're just going to advance through this. You're going to be fighting demons as well. I wish I had my plasma gun. The demons move in really weird ways. Sorry for the spoilers. The Blood Raven Space Marines here are pretty much invulnerable. I know it. Let's get out the last gun real quick, and that is a Chaos Cultist, and I just got my own Space Marine. Whoa! You know what? I stand corrected. The button is T. I need to get cover! Take care of the cultists, you take care of the portals. Or the cultist sorcerers, excuse me. And I am getting fried. The game can get a little busy. And that basically means that there's a lot of particle effects and things that make it very difficult to see what you're actually doing. That flat pistol. Fuck off. You know what? Fuck you. You're done. Plasma weapons are slow, but extremely lethal. Again, some of these weapons, I don't think this is how a last cannon should be used, and it's used the same way in Eternal Crusade. The difference here being that, you know,
Ultramarines drop pod incoming.
it takes a bit of damage to actually kill me, whereas in Eternal Crusade, it really doesn't feel like Space Marines.
Ultramarines, deploy on my mark.
You guys feel about as armored in Eternal Crusade as I do in, say, as I do in, say, CSGO. Who are you shooting? Oh, him. Oh, God. Noise Marine says, fuck me. Oh, no, that's a Havoc Marine. Havoc Marine says, fuck me. But yeah, that is your basic gameplay rundown. How do I feel about the game? I like it. I genuinely enjoy this game. I still had it installed on my computer last week when Renlays asked me to do a review of it. And those high scores and leaderboard and stuff with my friends, that's recent activity. We regularly play this about once a week. It's fun. The game is cheaper than Eternal Crusade. When I compare it to the features offered by Eternal Crusade, I really feel like it's a better game. Not just on the features, but on the core gameplay level. In Space Marine, you feel like a Space Marine. You take a significant amount of damage, even when you're fighting other Space Marines to put down. You are powerful and vulnerable at the same time. It's almost right at the right balance between too much power and not enough. It's almost at the right balance before you get right at enough and you're starting to go into the realm of overpowered. Just like Eternal Crusade, some of the weapons are obviously not balanced. Las cannons are extremely devastating, especially multiplayer, as are plasma cannons and plasma guns. But in the lore, they're supposed to be extremely devastating. The thing that's supposed to balance them out is they overheat and occasionally hurt the user. In the case of the two games, they never overheat or hurt the user, so there's not that real balance there. The melted gun doesn't work properly here. But since you don't get a power fist and you get a thunder hammer instead, the thunder hammer, in my opinion, works like how the power fist should be working in Eternal Crusade. During multiplayer, you do not get... Dodging does not grant you invincibility frames during multiplayer, by the way. So when you hit someone, you hit them, which is another thing. The net code for Space Marine is genuinely better. And also, I feel like a Space Marine. I'm powerful and not vulnerable, as I said earlier, but at the same time, when I hit something, the reaction to the hit, the way everything's portrayed on the screen, feels like I just knocked the crap out of something with a chainsword. And when I fire the weapons, they feel like oversized weapons, like bigger than normal human weapons. The bolter feels that way, the heavy bolter especially. Which brings me to another point. The heavy bolter is actually controllable while moving, which is something that in the lore you should be able to do. Yes, Devastators prefer a moment to set up, but they're also known for shooting and advancing, and it works. Whereas in Eternal Crusade, you can't do that. Lastly is the armor situation, as far as core gameplay is concerned, and this is your comparison rundown, while Titus in the background just beats the fuck out of some orcs. I hate to say it, you feel like a Space Marine here, again, whereas in Eternal Crusade, I feel like I'm playing CSGO or CS Source or Call of Duty in terms of damage I can take. I have seen players in Eternal Crusade go down in 3 bolter hits to the body. 3 plain old bolters. And here it takes 11 to 15. At least in my experience with multiplayer recently in the last week, it's taken 11 to 15 to bring me down in a versus match. Last Cannon still will bring me down instantly, or at least put me on low health. But then they have a charge time, and if you're being hit while you have a las cannon, you really can't aim straight. And then there's other modes here, like Dreadnought, that's not planned. The Exterminatus mode, while yes, Eternal Crusade you do get to fight Tyranids, and you will get to play as Orcs and Eldar, and Exterminatus you do get to play as Chaos as well as Loyalist Marines. In addition to this, you fight not only Orcs, but if you're playing Chaos, you will fight Guardsmen. So there you have it. Now, one of the defects is that if you progressed on this game originally on Windows Live like I did, yeah, when I say we played it regularly, I was still logging in with my Windows Live account when I decided to install this on Steam instead. Go figure the nightmare that must have been, because I know that no one can get the Windows Live version right now. You can't do it. So while I was still playing this on Windows Live for the last umpteen years, I didn't know that when I moved it over to Steam, I would have no progress. Which is a defect. If you bought the game originally and you haven't transferred it to Steam, you're going to be starting the multiplayer from square one. The base game is $30. If you want all the DLC, it's $60. But a lot of the DLC is just cosmetic stuff. The things I recommend that if you're going to get the DLC, you buy the Dreadnought mode, which is a mode where you literally just turn into a Dreadnought, which really, really makes the multiplayer interesting. And you buy the Chaos Exterminatus mode, so you can play Chaos Space Marines. Those are the only 2 I recommend buying. That cost you about an extra $10. And then you can leave the cosmetic stuff off, bringing the total price tag up to $40 instead of $60. Or you can wait till it goes on sale, because regularly I see this game on sale. It comes up on my Steam app for Firefox to tell me, hey, Warhammer 40k is on sale. Warhammer 40k Space Marines on sale. And it regularly goes on sale at least once a month, I've noticed. So I enjoy it. I find the campaign story is interesting. It's not an Ultra Smurf style story. And there's definitely a gradual build to a crescendo. The disappointing parts I find about the multiplayer campaign: 1, you don't actually get to use the Titan yourself. The Titan, out of the Titans on the planet, you only ever see one fire a shot, and it's a complete cutscene, and I won't ruin it for you for what it is. 2, the final boss fight. The final boss fight was done very poorly. It really was done very poorly. Especially, it's not the boss fight itself, it's the last part of the final boss fight that I found to have been done very poorly. However, the lore is solid, at least in my opinion. It's a very good game if you don't know any Warhammer 40k lore. It's a very good game to start to kind of learn, or to introduce your friends to the universe. It's a very good way to introduce them to the universe, in my opinion. Because then they learn, how Space Marines are supposed to work in lore. And you never know, you might end up with new tabletop folks. There you go. That's my entire review. I wish I had some multiplayer footage for you guys. And this is a defect with the game. I have experienced this week, after I installed the Steam version rather than the Windows Live version, I have had some crashes to desktop. I have had some errors with my recordings. So one of the problems was that the original multiplayer recording I had for you guys that I got on Monday corrupted during the recording. I know it's an interaction. It's not necessarily something just wrong with the game. It's an interaction between open broadcasting software and the game that caused that. I couldn't figure out what it was, but the game and OBS both crashed. And when OBS crashes, whatever you're recording is gone. It's just gone. So I lost it, and we were playing a Dreadnought game. I wasn't doing the best, but we were playing and having fun at a Dreadnought game when the whole game went. Also, I'd been the Dreadnought for like a total of, I think, 40 seconds in the match, which was fun. I mean, it's really fun to walk around and smash people as a Dreadnought. But there you go. Core gameplay is solid. There are bugs, and the game itself is a lot of fun to play. You guys now have some gameplay examples. You see what you're going to expect. Those Blood Ravens and Dark Templars are the only Space Marines I've seen besides the 3 that you landed with. And the game teaches you how to play. That's one of the most important aspects to the game, I think, is that as you're going through the campaign, as you go from point to point, it teaches you how to play. And then expects you as the player to figure it out once it's shown you how stuff works. Which, for any game, so long as it is teaching you as you play rather than you going through a tutorial section, I can fully embrace and know that that means that the game developers wanted you to have a chance to enjoy their game the way it was that they think it should be enjoyed. Now, you can enjoy it in other ways. It's entirely up to you. But there you go. I'm done with my rant. I've given you guys, I think, a fair comparison between Eternal Crusade and Warhammer 40k Space Marine. I personally think this is the better game, and again, I'm really waiting on Warhammer 40k Deathwing for what I hope will be one of the best reincarnations of a game ever, and that is the reincarnation of the original Space Hulk first-person shooter. But we'll see. In the meantime, if you found this review helpful, if you enjoyed it, if you just had a good time, hit the like button. It's right there. You can also hit the dislike button if you didn't have a good time. Either way's fine. If you would like to see more stuff by me, you can come check it out on my channel. It should be linked in the description below if Remlays did his thing correctly. If it's not there, then if you just go to his main page, I'm over to the side under recommended channels under Fiaura the Tank Girl. If you would like to see the previous review and actually see what I thought of Eternal Crusade, it's right there. I did not have a good time. And if you would like to support Remlays, he has a Patreon. I donate to it. I started donating to it, I think, around the 3rd or 4th Blitzkrieg episode. What have we done? Like 8 of those now? I started donating to it around then. We need to get that last Blitzkrieg episode done at some point. That's going to be a thing soon, by the way. Blitzkrieg episode. And I will be doing next week's review right here on this channel. It's probably going to be a review of Battlefleet Gothic Armada. You guys have seen the first looks at it. Now I'm going to give you guys a full comprehensive review of this game that came out last month. Also, I'm doing a Let's Play of it on my own channel, so if you want to see some gameplay from the campaign, and you want to see, Warhammer 40k spaceships blow each other up, there you go. I think that's enough said. Leave comments as well. If you have different experiences with Space Marine, you're more than welcome to share them. In the meantime, I'll see all of you later. Bye!